Good morning. Sorry for the delay on this video, but I am going to get it up for you this morning. I am at Cameron Park. I'm about to do my Friday morning run in the woods. For those of you who are new to Waco, if you haven't discovered Cameron Park, if you like outside things, it's a great place to be. And hopefully, looks like next week it's going to get cooler. So I wanted to start with chapter 17. It's called How Captain Dobbin Bought a Piano. But it begins with this image of a space. So of course I was interested in that. But it brings together this idea of satire and sentiment. And this connects a little bit to the idea of whether a narrator is distancing or engaging, and this comes from some of those shorter pieces that I sent you. And so I just want to think about Thackeray's strategy through his narrator, but not only through his narrator, in the way that he develops the relationship between us as readers and the characters, and how and when he's using satire and sentiment. So this image in chapter 17 was particularly interesting to me, because he places satire and sentiment, he personifies them as if they are characters at an exhibition, which he's calling Vanity Fair. And so it says, the chapter begins, if there is any exhibition in all Vanity Fair, which satire and sentiment can visit arm in arm together, where you light on the strangest contrast, laughable and tearful, where you may be gentle and pathetic, or savage and cynical with perfect propriety, it is at one of those public assemblies, a crowd of which are advertised every day in the last page of the Times newspaper. And so I'm interested in the contrast that he's bringing together here, because I feel as though this is something that Thackeray does in his own novel, where towards the characters we might feel both satirical and sentimental. And so I'm curious about places that you've identified in the text, and this could relate to a specific character, where you feel like the narrator, or Thackeray, if we go one level higher, is encouraging you to feel sympathy for the character. And for me, I think this happens in moments where the characters are actually revealed to have some complexity or nuance, and where we're being asked to kind of identify with them. But then other moments, maybe with the same character, where we're sort of feeling pushed away from the character, and we're asked to judge them, or we're asked to sort of see ourselves as above that character. So normally in a text, you would find kind of one strategy or the other. And so I want to look at where Thackeray is sort of blending the strategy, and the way chapter 17 opens, with this image where Thackeray seems to suggest that sometimes you can have satire and sentiment together. The other interesting thing that I just want to mention about this passage, because it's something that happens quite frequently in the text, is we go for a long time, we're placed in this space with no other identifying markers. So we just know that we're at this house where all the stuff is being auctioned off. And it goes for quite a few pages into the chapter until we find out that the people bidding on this piano are actually Dobbin and Rebecca with Rawdon. So it's this very startling moment of, oh, this is actually a familiar space. And so that same move of defamiliarization, right, where we're just in a strange house that's being auctioned off, why should we care about it, is now all of a sudden made quite familiar and personal to us, because it involves these characters that we've been, getting to know. Same thing happens with a sort of shocking event at what I asked you to read through, kind of chapter 23. I won't mention it here in case you haven't finished that yet, but he does it a lot, where it's like he places us in a space or an event and defamiliarizes it by removing any names or characters, until suddenly he reveals, oh, this actually has something to do with people you care about. And so again, it's that movement back and forth between distancing and defamiliarizing, and then pulling us in close again. So I would love to hear other moments in the text where you all identify that kind of move, and then we can sort of talk as a class about what's the effect of that, and why is Thackeray interested in, as chapter 17 begins, moments where satire and sentiment can exist together.